Citizens of the Reject Nation, we are going to watch House of the Dragon, episode 7 today. Johnny, how are you?
I am excited for this. How are you?
Excited for this. How are you?
I'm excited for this even more so.
This yes and game will
of
never
your
end.
Excitement.
House of the Dragon, ladies and gentlemen, leave a like. Dracarys that like button. Also, subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified when our reaction for episode 8 is up here on the channel. And also, full-length reaction watch-alongs where you sync with your own copy for House of the Dragon, available for our super sexy rejects at our Patreon page. Also covers several shows over there exclusively with reaction highlights and watch-alongs included. Lastly, the team of Prepper. Thank you for helping us edit down these highlights. You guys are kicking so much booty. Let's get to it.
Burial, let's see.
Wow, that's like directed right at him.
Hey. Oh. That's not our blood, is it? It's a great contrast. First one starts with the birth. This one starts with the burial.
It's a good observation. God damn it, Alicent.
Jeez, man, I'm just staring daggers.
Your girls had a very image of their mother. A comfort and an anguish, as I well remember. The gods can be cruel.
Seems they've been especially cruel to you.
There's a place for you in my court. That's something you should need.
I need nothing.
Sorry for your loss, my prince.
No matter how fat the leech grows, it always wants for another meal.
Man, Daemon grieving scary.
No one rocks disheveled like Rhys Fawns, man.
This guy seems like a creepy Finn Wolfhard.
Exact. That is 100% the vibe.
Mayhaps the gods have scorned us. It's not justice for your wife that drives you to your own ambition. I gave up the idea of wearing a crown a generation ago. It is you, Lord Husband, who refuses to abandon this pursuit, even now at the cost of our children.
Surprised it took this long to mention this.
Rhaenyra's children are not of your blood.
This guy cannot handle truth bombs tonight.
He's doing his best. But big denial.
Harren's curse is said to be as strong now as it was after the conquest.
It's a ghost story. One Sarosha and the Queen would gladly exploit.
I do not believe Alicent's capable of cold murder.
Each of us is capable of depravity.
I believe it of you.
If you're accusing me of some depravity, you'll need to be more specific.
This is so dark.
I know.
You abandoned me.
I spared you. You were a child.
Yes, I was a child. And look at what my life became without you. I am sorry.
Don't be. I am at least allowed to mourn my losses.
Oh, God, already.
You know there could be spies all over this beach.
This whole situation is just pure darkness.
Yeah. Symbolic setting and time of day. At least she'll have one blonde baby.
Just attended his wife's funeral. Got to keep the bloodline pure.
As pure as possible.
Is he gonna try to claim that dragon?
Is he gonna, go claim Vhagar?
Yeah.
Oh, snap. what a move.
Good thing they shot this episode so dark. 'Cause this looks so real in its scale.
It's the whole reason for this choice is for this scene.
Dude. Bad move, homie.
Does not see you as a threat.
Wow, that was a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it worked.
Jeez.
I will call you Pig.
The Pink Fury. God, everyone's just jumping all over Lena's stuff on the night of her burial.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
This is awesome. You can really feel the proportions.
Yeah,
Scary.
the weight.
Yeah. It's like 2014 Godzilla.
Absolutely.
He's just screaming his head off. What have I got myself into?
Are they off? Wow.
He's just. There you go. Airplane.
Classic shot.
The airplane did not crash. Look at you go, man.
That's how you prove yourself. You just come back with the biggest, baddest dragon.
Gorgeous.
Wow.
Absolutely beautiful.
It's the anatomy alone.
Someone stole Vhagar.
What if that was the opening? Someone stole Vhagar. Time back.
Then there's a 60-minute counter. It's the 24 episode.
Oh, God. That belonged to his woman.
Vhagar is my mother's dragon.
Your mother's dead. Vhagar has a new rider now.
She was mine to claim.
Then you should have claimed her. Maybe your cousins can find you a pig to ride.
Ouch. You learn nothing. Whoa.
Oh, kids.
Damn.
Oh. Oh, thank God.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really bad's about to happen. Yep.
You will die screaming in flames just as your father did. Bastards.
My father's still alive.
Doesn't know, does he? All strong.
Oh.
Oh!
Damn!
My prince.
Let me see.
Yeah, you showed up at the right time.
Yeah.
all of you,
right on
all
cue.
of you showed up. Just
You guys hear something?
It will heal. Will it not, Maester?
Oh my god, this situation is so bad.
Wow.
The eyes lost your grace.
Whatever, he's got a big ass dragon now.
Yeah, and a cool scar.
And of course, they show up together.
Yeah. Not suspicious at all.
Viserys brought a blade to the ambush. He meant to kill my son.
It was my sons who were attacked and forced to defend themselves. Vile insults were levied against them.
What insults?
Yikes!
The day of my son's birth was put loudly to question.
What?
Called us bastards.
Oh,
My sons are in line to inherit the Iron Throne, Your Grace. This is the highest of treasons.
Where's Sir Laenor? I wonder the boy's father. Perhaps he might have something to say in the matter.
I do not know, Your Grace. I could not find sleep. I had gone out to walk.
Who spoke these lies to you?
Oh.
Oh god.
It was Vhagar.
Tell me the truth of it!
Everyone knows. Just look at them.
Wow, this is escalating so fast.
Yeah, this is happening.
Now make your apologies and show goodwill to one another. Your father, your grandsire, your king demands it!
Look what you've done to me. Look at me physically.
This is all you guys.
I'm a manifestation of all your problems.
Aemond has been damaged permanently. My king, goodwill cannot make him whole.
I know, Alicent. But I cannot restore his eye.
No, because it's been taken.
What would you have me do?
I
shall have one of her son's eyes in return.
Oh my god, Alicent.
Yep.
Do not allow your temper to guide your judgment.
If the king will not seek justice, the queen will.
Wow.
Damon's like, I've been avoiding this shit for a long time.
You can have the crown, buddy.
And let it be known, anyone whose tongue dares to question the birth of Princess Rhaenyra's sons should have it removed.
Thank you, Father.
Man. That's some good shit right here.
Yep.
Alicent, stay with the king! Hold your ground!
Whoa.
Yo!
Do not separate them! Alicent! Stay your hands off!
No! You've gone too far.
What have I done but what was expected of me? Forever.
Oh, the fire right there, dude.
You take my son's eye, and to even that you feel entitled.
Exhausting, wasn't it? Hiding beneath the cloak of your own righteousness.
Ooh.
But now they see you as you are.
Oh, shit.
You goddamn.
Oh, boy. Oh.
Oh,
That's
oh, dude, did you see the wrist?
very bad.
Like the forearm straight down?
Looks like it. Yep. Ooh, bad.
Oh, that's not good at all. Oh, dude, no.
Do not mourn me, Mother. It was a fair exchange. I may have lost an eye,
Gained a dragon.
but I gained a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
This proceeding is at an end.
I slept with Rhaenyra. Air it all. Kirsten? Oh my god, Damon's standing right there. Oh shit. Family feud.
I've conducted myself in a manner unbefitting my station. I lost composure. Assaulted the princess.
was a wild episode.
I even doubted its existence.
It was an ugly thing. I regret it.
We play an ugly game. And now, for the first time, I see that you have the determination to win it.
Look at the pride in his face.
Now go to him, be penitent. Plead the injury to your son. Keep a grip on your passions. And I promise you, in time, you and I together will prevail.
Oh, man.
The boy was right. It's worth 1,000 times the price he paid.
Dude, she is brilliant.
Yeah.
She is brilliant. Just that horror of the person that she knows is within her. That is disgusting.
Nice.
This is really gross.
Yeah. It sucks to live in this time, I tell you what.
Damn, that could have been fatal.
Yeah.
What?
Oh my God, useless.
What happened last night?
They were supposed to be mourning one person, and it became about something else.
I recommit myself to you and to strengthening our house as we prepare you for your ascension. I will raise our sons to be princes of the realm.
Laenor.
You deserve better than what I have been. You deserve a husband.
It was so many bad things.
Just let him have this moment.
He's gonna protect his sister, so I'll protect you. It's like playing Where's Waldo with this creep.
Yeah, right. It's always lurking somewhere in the background.
If it's I you want to balance the scales, I am your servant.
That will not be necessary.
Alicent's gonna turn into like a crazed woman.
The day will doubtless come when I require such a friend. With not only skill, but discretion as well.
I shall await your call, my queen.
Vhagar in Bunyaris. In Aonike. Rzone Ixi.
Wow. The choices.
We could not marry unless Laenor were dead.
Exactly.
Oh.
There are places across the narrow sea where it doesn't matter what a man's name is. Only how much gold he possesses.
What are you asking of me, my lord?
Run away.
A quick death. One with witnesses. If you are to be a strong queen, you must cultivate love and respect, yes, but your subjects must fear you.
Oh my God, rule through her.
Why are you in my father's hall?
You have always looked down on me.
Oh.
My lord, please!
Wow.
All of the gods!
Here come the witnesses.
Lord Corlys and Princess Rhaenys, their only
Wow.
remaining child.
Oh my God.
And the realm will whisper that I was somehow responsible.
Oh, both the children. Jesus. I've never seen love like this.
Nope. We should all be so lucky.
Oh my God, the children must be like, holy shit.
What a weird weekend this has been for everybody. Yeah. Nice.
Run away.
Go live your life.
Whose body did they burn?
That's a good question. Maybe they grabbed one of those knights, or did his ward make it out? His little ward guy.
You still be attracted to him even though he's bald?
He could grow it back in a couple years, you know. That's all they got to do, and they got to not, capsize and die. But yeah, I think they got a shot.
Man, how much did they squeeze so much into this 1 hour?
Yeah, it's rich.
So much happened.
It's rich and twisted.
So much happened.
I mean,
it's all happened in like 24 hours.
Yeah, just over the course of one night.
My God.
One long night.
Jesus.
Did Miguel Sapochnik direct the really dark battle episode in season 8 of Game of Thrones?
I don't know.
I wonder if they came back and he's like, I want to do this one all at night again, except I want to do it a little better. You can actually see stuff.
Let's talk about it. Jesus. All right. So playing this back, it looks like the guy's body's the guy on the staircase who Daemon killed.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And all the skin, all the epidermis was burnt. Oh, man. All right, let's recap everything that happened in this episode. All right, here we go.
1.
So 1, the funeral. 2, Aemond took Vhagar.
Yes, and
they fight with the children.
Sure, and then
Lost
Daemon and
an eye.
Rhaenyra made love.
Daemon and Rhaenyra made love. I mean, that's small in comparison to where it ends off with them. And then truths were coming out. She struck. Alicent struck Rhaenyra with a blade. And then Otto realized, hey, you got that ruthlessness in you that you clearly are uncomfortable with.
Yep.
But hell, we could use that to win.
We need more of that around here.
Things suck.
You're promoted.
And then they faked Laenor's death.
Yep.
And now Daemon and Rhaenyra are married. That's a lot. And somehow did not feel rushed, which shocks me because this show really does have a tight grip on the moments it chooses to capture and whatever emotion they need to evoke and connect with its audience, because somehow it's so damn effective and I don't feel like I'm missing. The only thing I slightly feel like I missed out on was, there's so much mourning happening at the funeral. And I'm like, I kind of wish I knew Lena a little better.
Sure.
Only so I could feel a little bit more for this mourning that everyone's going through. But it wasn't really about the mourning. It was about all the suspicious looks that everyone gives. That's what the show's filled with. It's suspicion throughout, and whatever conniving plans are percolating everywhere. And guards are also terrible in this show. They always run way too late. That's what everyone does. The altar guards.
What is
supposed to
this?
be
Why
protecting
one job to do?
the thing
One
you're supposed
job to do. Well,
I don't know where you're guarding.
I guess, like you're supposed to be right outside the door, right? It's like, I don't know. Maybe they figure the hall is empty or something like that. It's the kind of system where you just gotta rely on hearing it down the hall, I guess.
But yeah, a lot of these characters became so much more interesting who we didn't really get to spend time with. And I like the compassionate touch they take with. I mean, I'm down for anyone taking some type of villainous turn. I don't give a shit. I'm all game for it. So if Rhaenyra did end up killing off Laenor, I'd be like, all right, I'm rolling with it. This is the Game of Thrones world right here. This is what you do.
Sure is.
She's there now. She's bad. What are you gonna do? Because as like self-pitying and at times seemingly pathetic that Laenor can sometimes come across as, he's also a nice guy. He's a good guy. Yeah. He still had a heart and he was still trying. And I don't think he's whole encompassing. I don't think pathetic is really the right choice of words for it. It's just the way the optics I'm talking about can sometimes be perceived around the gentleman, right? And I appreciated that conversation that they did have about trying and how Rhaenyra actually didn't really want him to die. And it's also a demonstration of the kind of, I bet in the books, she actually killed him off.
I can see that. I can 100%
I bet there's
see
some
that.
change in the books they took, and they're like, we can't have her do that here. But I don't know. I'm curious.
They're
I'm
like, we're gonna ruffle some feathers by killing his actual lover unceremoniously, like the second we meet him in that one episode. So let's give him a happy ending. Let's let him go off and be with his new lover.
Because I get tidbits of information, but I don't like to. Even if I start listening, like Paul, heavy spoilers, amazing breakdowns, and I usually will. I might stop like towards like a few minutes before his videos end, because I'm always a little hesitant of I don't want to hear anyone go into what's going to happen, and he's pretty good about avoiding that, unless you're watching like a trailer breakdown. but in terms of the episode breakdown, pretty solid about avoiding that. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I never know what's going to happen with this show, but I know they will make some tweaks. And for some reason, I'm like, I feel like in the books you might have done something messed up like that.
I can definitely see that. Yeah.
Or maybe if it wasn't her, but either way,
you can see her wanting it to be that way, and Daemon just being like, no, kill him, kill him for real.
I mean, there's so much grieving happening in this episode, and it's like and the other part of grieving is the phrase that comes to mind of the saying of "good grief," like that's just what King Viserys reminds me of. I feel like every waking moment is good grief. It just doesn't stop.
just a womp womp, just a sad character all around. And you want the best for him. He wants the best for everybody. And it's just, this guy is so put upon. He's always deteriorating.
Well, I feel like the last episode truly highlighted like the standouts of where the setup of the Rhaenyra and Alicent and where they're at in this political war game. And then here it was like so many more characters really got to shine. And this was a true mastery of an ensemble piece, I thought. Even the kids became interesting.
I know.
Beyond Aegon being a creepy tyrant. That hasn't really been a tyrant lately, just creepy. He's really creepy.
Aemond.
Yeah.
Aegon was just chilling, drinking wine. Creepy Finn Wolfhard is Aegon, I think, and then Aemond is
Yeah, Aegon's the creepy one.
Aemond.
What do you mean?
Who charms the dragon and who gets his eye cut off?
I wasn't talking about him. Yeah,
oh, sorry.
I said Aegon was creepy.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess so.
And then you corrected me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must find Aemond creepier because I thought Aegon was just chilling this whole episode, just being like, "What? I just want to drink wine."
Aegon's always a creep one to me. I don't know. Aemond doesn't really creep me out.
He's got that malicious, like vindictive look in his eye.
I know. I like that about him.
Sure.
Because, I mean, the way they set up his character though is he's bullied.
Yeah,
absolutely. And he's put down upon. You're like, you're the one without a dragon, loser.
And now you've got the ultimate dragon. You've got the dragon with the most seniority.
Because I like the way they did that, where he wins over Vhagar, and it becomes this glorious ride through the seas. And then it instantly turns into just a goddamn nightmare.
Yes. Yeah, and they really are good at getting that sense of like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like something terrible and like irreversible is about to come. And then somehow surprising you with what it is. Like, and it is that, but it's not exactly, I don't know. I kept expecting someone to be like paralyzed or to die or something like that in that moment.
Well, there's such good framing in this show, a phenomenal framing.
Yeah.
Like that shot when Rhaenyra is talking with, like, that is such a painting. When Rhaenyra is talking with Daemon at the end, and she's saying, because they both, like she's married to Valerian. He was married to a Valerian, like the sister of her husband. And then you see, like, we have to say goodbye. Like when you see in the distance the ship sailing, like we have to say goodbye to the sea, to this bloodline, and we have to marry within.
Yeah, we gotta make it even more pure.
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep these Valerian kids you got, but
we'll keep these strong kids. Well, and Daemon's Valerians.
Yeah, exactly. So I just think that the way they composed this episode, it had this fascinating pull where it starts off so mournful, so sorrowful in the beginning, like really deliberate. as you're sinking into the tension and the mood of this funeral. Like, this funeral should be all about grieving, yet you could like that. The thing this has such a great mastery of is there's always a goddamn political war game happening at every waking moment, and sneaking suspicions. And whenever there's a death, it's like, what's going to happen next now?
Yeah.
And then, you settle in with Daemon and Rhaenyra rekindling that love, and then it kind of puts some other things in the clearer perspective from prior episodes, where, like when he first, like in the brothel with Rhaenyra, when he was making the moves on her, but then he couldn't fully go through with it, and the way he was talking to her now, it seems so sincere. Of like he did seem like he was tempted, he wanted to, and he is drawn to her emotionally, but he wanted to originally marry her, but he couldn't. He needed, like, he knew that they would pose a danger to her.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense now. Like some of those choices that were made before, because you see him here now where he is, I don't know if the right word is subdued, but he's not as, like, he still has his ways where he'll start chuckling about a thing that you don't expect him to chuckle about, or he'll be an asshole in a moment, or find something. He could be kind of gleeful over something that you wouldn't expect someone to be gleeful over. But there is more of a sincerity, I think, to the way he communicates, but especially with Rhaenyra. Like I bought their kindling. I bought their romance.
I do too. Yeah, and I like the weird sort of back and forth push pull they've done with it, where, yeah, I mean, you can tell that parts of them really want this, but also parts of them are sort of uncomfortable about it, mostly because of, the outside view. And it's an interesting cornucopia of feelings we get to have, because they're both Matt Smith and Millie Alcock, and Matt Smith and Emily Darcy. They all have great chemistry together, and so yeah, it's like it's easy in the moments where you forget the circumstances to be like, man, they really are kind of fated for each other in a way, but also this is, so conflicting and so kind of squirmy, and it's a wonderful portrait, and I love an episode this felt more tense. Like, we got really sort of on edge during the episode where they have the big gathering in the hall, and all that stuff goes down, and Kristen kills the lover and all that stuff. But here I felt even more tense, because you are boiled down to, these are like the main families involved with a lot of the ruling right now, and they're all in a small room together, and everyone's either grieving or furious for some reason, or is standing on top of a mountain of like thinly veiled deceits. And it's I love that feeling of like anything could happen in this moment. And even when they were doing the thing with Laenor, I remember thinking to myself, like, oh yeah, they're gonna arrange so that he can steal away somehow and go out and live with his, because I we've seen this guy who he pays off at least one other time, is sort of mentioned as a target of Laenor's affections, or somebody he's been spending time with, and so as he's negotiating, I was like, okay, that's what they'll probably do. But then when they're actually doing the thing, I got so caught up in it, I was like, maybe they did just actually kill him, and I feel like that's a testament, to the overall sort of pall of uneasiness and anger and grief and tension. Like, it's a great, really uncomfortable and really sort of sad cocktail. Yeah. And I thought it was a great choice to shoot this all at night, because it is the time, symbolically the time where everyone's a little less afraid to bear their true nature or true, desires, and just be a bit more bold under cover of shadow. I loved this sort of weird, not madcapness, but there was a sort of like, man, there is so much happening over the course of this one night. But it, instead of feeling like just a whole, like you said, feeling rushed, it does feel just like a domino, a sort of like disconnected domino effect that eventually collides.
One thing leads to the next quite naturally.
Yeah, and things that seem like they start off, completely disparate from each other, pretty soon tie right in.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating chess game, yeah.
I mean, there's so much to interpret about how, like, everything that occurred at night, because there's so much, like, things of lurking in the shadows, the darkness within, giving into those deeds all coming out. And so that's what made that argument and the debate in the hall about what to do with the kids. Should you take this kid's eye? And then Alicent exposing herself because there's so much secrecy is part of the politics here. There's so much things that have to be kept hidden, or things you shouldn't say, things you shouldn't talk about. And so much of this was about confronting truths. You know, even Rhaenys talking with blanking on his name. What's the king? What's the king? Corlys. Talking with Corlys, and him. It's like he always knew these truths, but it's the first time it would appear this is the first time any of this is being said to him. Yeah. Like you keep justifying this pursuit of power to right a wrong that happened to me, but you want power.
Yeah,
and you gotta face facts. That's not our blood, those babies.
There's no way those are ours. Yeah,
those ain't our kids, man.
That's not your bloodline carrying on.
And then even when it came down to Laenor, you know, like the truth of the matter is like he can't go through with this much longer. Like he's deteriorating. So it's that kind of thing where, again, it's not necessarily pathetic. It's the fact that none of this is. This is the most unreal for anyone. This is the biggest lie for anyone, you know, because Rhaenyra can put up the act of being in a marriage and lie that these are, you know, his kids, but at the end of the day, the truth is those are still her kids. You know,
yeah,
she still has something. She's still going to be queen who inherits. Like there's not much of a like she lies about who the father is. But for him, like, this is all a lie. He's got to, like, pretend like, yeah, these are my children. I love these children. I love my woman, you know. There's so much he's got to do, and none of this is true for him, like, whatsoever. So him getting to sail off, I think, is actually kind of nice for him, you know.
It's kind of beautiful. Yeah. And in the greater conversation, it's like, oh, cool. Like, I guess we're not going to see him again, but, yeah, at least this queer character gets to have a happy ending.
Yeah, thank God. But honestly, Olivia, like, everyone's great. Emily Darcy is amazing, and you can feel that. I guess you could say you feel that drive and anger, the aggression within them. What I really love about Olivia Cook's performance. That's her name, right?
Yes, who plays
Alicent? Yeah,
I believe that is the older Alicent. Yes.
Well, Alicent. What I love about her performance is there is such a chaos within her.
She's always seething, yeah.
There's
trying to keep a lid on that.
Yeah, there's like a floodgate waiting to open within her, and that's the thing that makes her performance kind of scary. Because
I know
you don't know when the pot's gonna boil over.
I feel like every time her eyes well up with tears, I'm like, I can feel the cracks in the dam starting to form.
And then even like the loyalty with the children, I thought was great. Like when Aemond notices his mom is like, this could be bad for my mom if I confess that it was my mom who told me that those children are bastards. Mm-hmm. It's Aegon.
Yeah.
Oh,
he'll just get a talking to.
And the way Aegon talks his way through that, like, look at them.
Yeah, I loved that.
Was like
choice.
A great Maury. That was the early beginning stages of the Maury show.
Yeah, right.
Look at
Let's get a test over here.
It's not their baby.
We gotta get a maester in here. We gotta find some way to verify this. But I love that he actually chose to do that. And again, in a room where that could you get the real sense that could actually supersede all the pageantry and all the, you know, like the etiquette, the cotillion of accepting these lies we, you know, pretend to be truths just because of the law of treasons and stuff like that. Like, I love that he's just like, everyone in the room could tell it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah, and then you have Otto, who you could feel has a sense of vengeance out as well. You know, someone who was wronged, who feels wronged.
Yeah.
And now he's got like a disgusting drive here because it's the same goal. It's the same end goal. But now there's like a sort of lividness to the way the pursuit is now. And like, we're going to take this, we're going to take it all down. So it's like, where's the war? There's a war coming. I don't know exactly where. Is it going to be Valerians versus Targaryens? because it kind of seems like we're headed there.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I mean, I feel like they're all going to be pointed at each other after a certain point because all of these things are so tenuous and it's also regional and everything else.
Well, I mean, when you look at what happened with, my God, I'm blanking on all the wrong names right now. Corlys and Rhaenys. What's the surname? What's the
Valarian. Yeah.
Oh, it is just Valarian.
Yeah, there's Valarion, which is their family name, and then there's Valyrian, which is like the old
The
language.
race.
Yeah.
So Jew is like a race and also
So
a religion.
cult. Yeah. Exactly. They're the Jews of this universe.
All right. Valarian?
Corlys Valarian.
Valarian. Okay. So
and there's Valyrian blood in all these people deep down.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Valarian. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember we had to IMDb some shit one episode. Yeah. All right. So when you look at them, specifically Corlys and Rhaenys, Rhaenys was already feeling like Daemon, if only like the part of her grief was the blame side in that discussion of if Daemon had brought her here, we could have saved her.
Yeah.
I blame Daemon.
Yeah.
And then even Rhaenyra points out that somehow this situation with Laenor, they're going to blame on me in some way.
Yeah.
And they've lost both their children, and they're probably both feeling like they've already felt like House Targaryen has dicked them over a lot already.
And now they've completely poisoned the well. Yeah.
Yeah, now they've lost both their children to them.
Yes.
In some way, there's an association. Their loss is to them.
Yeah.
So,
and they don't even they get their two little girls, but they don't get really that perpetuation of the bloodline they wanted through Rhaenyra.
Yeah, it's wild stuff, and God, I just have no clue what's gonna happen. And Viserys is they're gonna give him a heart attack. Like,
oh, he's
on the verge of a heart attack. Yeah, he's already had one, but he's on the verge of going into a coma.
As of this episode, I think I'm just going to assume that he will live till the end of the season and just look more and more terrible doing it, because the last episode and then this episode and even that first one where he collapses at the time jump, I'm like, he's got to be dead now. He's got to be about to die, or someone's going to kill him. But nope, he just keeps on going, and I feel like that's the true curse of that character. Is not only is he not really cut out for kinging, but also he's just going to live the worst way possible for as long as possible before he dies.
Well, he's such a pacifist and dealing with a bunch of people who are ready to wage war within their themselves. And I love when he starts shouting, I forget exactly what, but he's like, "Is your father, your grandfather, your king?"
Yes.
They're all, shut this shit down. Shut it down. I'm sick of this.
Now shake hands and say you're sorry.
This has to.
We're all friends again, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel progressively bad for it.
Yeah,
because he's dealing with this leprosy issue. But it does feel like they've, at least with the filmmaking choice, that it also is a representation of him deteriorating on the inside as well. As this situation crumbles, so does the head of the whole thing, him, crumble as well externally.
It's like when they show you a picture of a president 4 years later and they look like their hair's all white and they've aged 20 years. It's like that. And the longer he has to be king, the more it's going to suck his soul out.
Yeah, and I like the way Alicent, because people always, when the show aired, I had a lot of people who are fans of the book. I don't know about a lot, but the few I know who read the book would tell me "Oh, just wait at Alicent. Oh, just wait."
That's the whole thing since episode 1. Just don't trust her.
And I think, I don't know what it's like the read, from what I hear, is often multiple perspectives. And that you're, a lot of unreliable narration. So, a lot of gossip speak. So with her, I wonder if in the book it feels a little more black and white with her, because here I think what makes her, why I'm loving the performance so much, is because you could feel that there's a good person in her, but the ruthlessness is slowly going to overtaking this woman's soul.
Well, because she's because I think
you can see she fears what she's becoming. Like
and I feel like throughout the performance with both actors, there's often been that sense under the surface in the performance of like constant discomfort with most scenes we see her in, most conversations we see her having to have, most situations she has to navigate through. And so I feel like that combined with the hurt is creating this void that is gonna swallow up those better instincts, because at least as of the show when they're younger, and I think that's nice part of
so effective because you watch their loss of innocence.
Yeah, exactly. So I like the show doing it this way, because at the top, because people are forming teams, Team Green or Team Rhaenyra, and I feel like from the top of this, you can see them both with their innocence, and you can see how they are both victims of the situation, and then you watch as they grow and take maturity and responsibility and how they wield that in light of all those things. So the tragedy, I think, plays really nicely here, because you remember that girl who did seem like she just wanted her friend, and with whom they could forget about all this kind of life crushing, soul crushing, statecraft nonsense. Yeah, you feel the tragedy of her, and the further, the more confrontations they have, you feel the smaller and smaller those flames get of their former bond. Flames, fire, yeah. The smaller those get of their former bond, until pretty soon they're just going to be out entirely.
Well, fire is I weirdly, they were specifically talking about fire in this episode.
Sure.
And I was thinking about it too, because whenever I do work on a piece of fiction, I notice I'll end up implementing something that has something to do with fire. And I did ask myself, what is this fascination with fire that I think a lot of people have? Because it's dangerous, it's violent, it can rage on, but there's something also beautiful and alluring simultaneously about it,
And there are small ways in which you can harness it, but it can easily overpower anyone's control. It's it's volatile.
It could be volatile. It could resemble passion. It could resemble fury. There's so much to fire.
It dances.
Yeah, exactly. It can be unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I think there is something beautiful about it, and it does feel like a fire. This whole show is one big fire.
Yeah, it's like watching a candle get knocked over, and then slowly as it spreads and engulfs the entire house. Yeah, totally. And then you're left with a pile of
engulfing a castle.
Yeah, no, 100%. Somebody leaves it next to the wrong drape, and then all of a sudden you're just in a pile of ash.
One candle just caused all this damage.
And I love too that we left off with Otto Hightower in such a he's conniving, but in a sympathetic manner where it's oh damn, he was just kind of telling the truth, and then he got sacked for it. And then I love on his return episode, it's no, he's yes, you have come over to my side. So it's it's a fun little flip of that table, because as much as we are kind of groomed not to trust him at first, they play you his sympathies as he exits the first time, and comes back fully.
Well,
not that way.
I think we've seen so many stories where sons become their fathers, and it's interesting watching one where you're seeing Alicent become her father. It's not something you really see a lot of.
You're watching Rhaenyra become her uncle. the more stern father figure in her life. Yeah, no, and what that blend will be, if any of that excess humanity will temper the Otto-ness of how she's growing, because there's so much of this, I'm sure, that has led her as a character to look back and go, damn, my dad was right. I should have trusted him all along.
Anyway, this is wild.
Yeah, this is sordid and intense. And I loved Larys just constantly, I love that he didn't really enter the episode at all focally, but he's just always lurking, and every time you see him, you're like, what is this? This guy's always got to be working on something dastardly.
Man, Alicent, man, you going crazy ass.
He's the kind of guy to come back next episode and be like, hey, I took one of the Targaryen kids' eyes because, I thought that's what you meant when you told me not to do it. I could see him being one of those characters. thought you were speaking ironically.
See, I feel like Aegon's the one out of the kids. I feel like Aegon's the one we're gonna really hate. Where Aemond is the one who you're gonna be like, you can kind of fear, but you'll be more compelled to watch him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he seems like he is growing into more of a bold character thus far. And even though we saw him in a moment in that exchange, like I like the exchange in the cave because, you know, they all have parts of the truth they've caught from the table above, and you know they're all sort of, you know, they haven't fully come into the understanding of what all that stuff means, and so like the way that exchange is charged makes a lot of sense. You can draw your own motivations as to who's in the right, who's in the wrong, when and how, and it all gets kind of ugly, and they're all just sort of like fighting and furious, but in a way where I'm like, I could totally see, you know, this is just another one of those formative moments where the next time we see the kids, and if there are more time jumps involving them getting older, I could easily see how, yeah, like maybe Aemond will come out as one of the more interesting or one of the even more copacetic characters in terms of like who you might root for. Because, you know, like Rhaenyra's kids are going to have to grow up with feeling like outsiders and having people whispering them a lot. I can imagine they might become quite bitter. Whereas Aemond, you're more in a position of like, okay, this kid's bullied. He's just gotten like a major boost with Vhagar. So like, just don't let that go too far to your head and become, you know, like the worst version of the thing you used to be up against. But yeah, like even with them, I can see all this potential for interesting storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just great writing because it's not just political warfare; it's also family drama.
Well, yeah, and it's and I think it still applies. But you know, the further you go back in history, I feel like there's that. It's like you have warring clans and factions and regions, and you have, yeah, like big scale war, but you also have the wars within each organization and within each alliance, and you know all the, you know, it's great. It's like all the different Venn diagrams that are overlapping in the big circle of a war. You know, and they're really graceful about how they make sure that you're kind of abreast of all those different motivations and plot lines.
Well, damn. What'd you guys think of the episode? Leave your thoughts down below. I never leave euphoric. I just leave with noticing I have more tension in my shoulders than I normally do. Every time.
I leave, feeling drained.
It's this weird contemplation I have when I watch it because I'm like, oh, am I feeling stiff today? And I'm like, nah, this show just makes my shoulders tense.
I haven't unclenched my fists in 6 minutes.
I'm just, my shoulders just hurt.
This is a show where I will forget myself sometimes, and then I'll be like, oh, my hands are still up, or something like that, you know, like some kind of a reaction. Yeah, will like push you into a rigor mortis for a while as you behold the horrors unfold.
All right, guys, we will be with you soon. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.